Ever since the day that you went away, you went away.
Hi everyone, my name is Andra and I make commentary videos. This is gonna be part 2 of a video that I have posted the other day. It's gonna be in regards to Keemstar's podcast with Jeffree Star. So it's kind of a continuation of what I've talked about in regards to Dahvie Vanity, Jeffree Star, what's been going on lately. So if you wanna check out the first video and then come back here, I'm gonna try to make this one shorter than that because that one has been a bit of me just rambling and being upset because this is a very sensitive topic for me because I've experienced something very similar. I've tried to hide my hair color because I have a vlog coming up with my hair color, but it didn't work, so we're gonna be flaunting it today. My hair's blue. My next few videos might have blonde hair because I've filmed them before but not edited them yet, so excuse that lack of continuity. We love that. So let's get started with this video. Please watch the first one before, but you're welcome to come anytime, obviously. So Keemstar's podcast called Mom's Basement has featured Jeffree Star the other day, and it has been truly disappointing. So on Edwins Generation's live, which I've talked about briefly on the last video, Keemstar told Shannon that he's gonna be asking some of the questions that she wanted Chris Hansen initially to ask. Guess what? Shannon was not there, and nor were her questions as far as I know. So Keemstar has lied. Other than him, there was a girlfriend beater, Faze Banks, and some guy named Clown. I don't know who he is, but he's the only one in that whole podcast who actually was not a clown. And we stand him, he's a king. He called out Jeffree Star throughout the whole thing. I was so happy that one person was there to hold him accountable. But Keemstar and Faze were too nice to him, as I would have expected, because Keemstar seems like a very coward person, let's say. A pussy. I don't want to say that on my channel, but it's true. We don't like derogatory terms with women involved in this house, but you know, let's say for 1 minute that I can say something like that, mildly offensive, and get away with it. He's a pussy. So, they've barely touched on the whole blood on the dance floor, Michael Jackson, sweetie, I'm so sorry thing, but they talked a lot about James Charles and a lot about Jeffree Star's money and number of employees. No one fucking cares. So, I have my notes on my phone because I was too lazy to write them down because I've had a lot to do today. So you'll have to excuse my lack of professionalism. I'm not a true YouTuber yet. They have addressed the fact that Jeffree has said no one had contacted him, and he keeps saying that over and over again, so he's still lying about that. He also addressed the alcohol stuff. He said that the reason why there are pictures with him and alcohol is because he lied to try to kind of boast and make himself look cooler when he was younger, and that he actually never touched alcohol because he doesn't like the smell. But then he says, I love weed, which, like, at least in England, because I smoke sometimes, it smells like Desperados a little bit, so it has like a beer-like smell. So if you don't like alcohol but you like the smell of weed, like, it doesn't add up, boy. You know what I mean? It's a bunch of bullshit, and I'm gonna be calling you out. They continue on to the same fashion that Chris Hansen has been talking in, calling rape and felonies drama and tea. Please stop doing that, and please grow up and realize that there are people who are never gonna recover from this emotionally and mentally. This is not drama. This is not the same thing as you stealing the design for your palette from that other brand that everyone's been talking about, Lorac or something. This is not the same thing. Okay, so please acknowledge the seriousness of the situation because, yeah. Keemstar himself goes on to defend Dahvie by saying that he wants to give people the benefit of the doubt and the whole innocent until found guilty kind of thing. Innocent until, I don't know what it's called. You know what I mean. that he just wants to give him the benefit of the doubt and defend him, which I think at this point, when 21 people have come out and they've all said that they know of more people who are not willing to come out, it gets a little bit past the point of you saying something like this, because there's only so many people that can be lying, and with the grandeur of the situation, I doubt that they are lying, and you shouldn't give someone like that the benefit of the doubt, especially when the FBI themselves are pretty much convinced of his guilt at this point, but they're just trying to gather up more evidence, because all the evidence is circumstantial. So there is a lot more to be done, but I do think that at this point everyone's made up their minds about it, except for Keemstar, who's defending Onision as well. So what should I expect from that person? Because he has 2 working brain cells. So Jeffree Star also tries to distance himself from the situation, but then 1 minute later he basically admits that he's the reason why Blood on the Dance Floor started the band, because they were inspired by him. And first of all, you aren't even that relevant. Second of all, how are you distancing yourself when you're saying you started you were the reason that the band started? It means that Dahvie Vanity is in a position where he can rape underage girls because of you. It's not a good look, and you shouldn't try to associate yourself with that, because you're contradicting yourself every 2 minutes. Like, this is a slippery slope with what you're doing, Jeffree, and everyone knows at this point. That's just all I'm gonna say on this, because it just makes no sense to me why you would say something that incriminates you if you're trying to make yourself look innocent. Please clarify. Next up, Jeffree is saying that other people have seen Dahvie doing things and they are the ones who told him, and that's why he tweeted out what he tweeted out about him accusing him, because other people have told him. So who are these other people, Jeffree? Because I feel like this is information you should be giving to the FBI, because it's potential evidence that you are withholding right now for no reason. So I just want to know who these people are and why haven't you given their names? It's not that hard. You can help the investigation. Jeffree also goes on to lie about not knowing Damien, who is one of the survivors who have spoken out in this matter. And I think they were the first one, when they used to go by Jessie Slaughter and they used to go by she. This was the first person who publicly spoke about it, and then when Jeffree retracted his statement, they retracted their statement because they thought everyone's gonna brand them as a liar because of Jeffree Star. And he basically said he doesn't remember Damien, even though Damien is claiming that they know Jeffree, which I'm more inclined to believe than a pathological liar such as Jeffree. And then Jeffree goes on to blame the mother of Damien for leaving a 10-year-old or 11-year-old with Dahvie, which obviously there is some degree of lack of responsibility from the parent in this matter. But it still doesn't excuse the fact that you, who are also an adult, haven't done anything about it. When there's other bands who talked about it, I think one band got kicked off tour from doing that. Mal said in her interview with Repzilla that the band tried to stop an underage girl from going with Dahvie, and Dahvie kicked them off the tour. So why is Jeffree not doing the same? Because he's hungry for money. That's why. That's how he got where he got. That's how he's a billionaire, because he has no scruples, he has no moral principles, and he only cares about personal gain. That's why no one's stuck by him. I bet that's why Nate left him. Like, I'm calling it. He has no real friends. Everyone in the industry is fake with him because they are scared of him. Maybe even Shane Dawson. Maybe he's the only real friend that Jeffree has. I'm not too sure. But I feel like even that is to some degree based on content and on Jeffree giving Shane shit, like physical stuff, products and stuff. Even though Shane could afford them, it's like an ego boost when someone is gifting you things. So I feel like that is a factor into their friendship for sure. They also talk about the whole story with mothers and daughters having threesomes with Dahvie, and they're all like laughing as they talk about it because of how outrageous it is. But laughing is not a natural reaction to a mother being an accomplice in a rape of their own child. It makes no sense to me why you would laugh at something like that, and that's not just Jeffree, that's Keemstar and Faze as well. And Jeffree kind of deflects the whole blame on himself by saying people should be focusing on the investigation and not on him. But if they should be focusing on the investigation, why don't you just chime in and show the proof that you have? Because I'm sure you, even if you don't have any actual proof, you know people who might have seen something, you know witnesses. So why don't you jump in on the investigation and try to be on the good side for once? So Jeffree ends up also addressing the other pedophile friends that he has, and that is Hunter Moore and the revenge porn website. He says that it's not true, that he made a joke about the list. There's no list. I don't know if I'm inclined to believe that, because he keeps saying he made a joke about everything. Like, is your life a joke? I don't understand why you think it's right to make jokes about stuff like that, like revenge porn. That's not to be joked about, in the same way that your last joke about having sex with a man who's almost unconscious from alcohol and he's like blackout drunk, that's not funny, so that shouldn't be joked about. But I feel like he has a very weird, distorted image of reality in his head. He also addresses the other guy, Ian something, who's I think in prison now for attempted rape of a child, like a little child, like 1 year, 2 years, I don't remember. Shannon has a video about it. I've linked it in my previous video. I'm going to be linking it again because it's relevant to this. He says he's never met that guy, that he only tweeted with him, and the only person to really call him out on that is Clown, because Clown is like, there are so many coincidences, don't you think it's a bit suspicious? And Jeffree like laughs it off, and obviously he never gives a real answer because he knows that he's not gonna have a real answer that's gonna not make him look guilty. He knows 4 pedophiles, and you're telling me none of them, like he didn't know about any of them actually being pedophiles. That's how ignorant do you have to be and how blind do you have to be to reality. I don't believe that he didn't know. And he's diminishing his relationship with them, and he's saying he was never friends with Dahvie, but then he calls him his brother. Like, make it make sense, make it add up. He also blames other people for what's happened, such as the tour manager and the merchandise girls. Do you know the merchandise girls have also been victims? Watch the interview by Zilla with Levi, she talks about it, or Levi, I don't know how you pronounce her name. She talks about it, how she was actually molested as well before she became a merch girl. And just inform herself these people are victims. Maybe the tour managers, but you don't blame other girls for what happened, because he was horrible with every single woman he's ever met. And then the conversation veers to James Charles. I just want to say, Jeffree Star, stop playing a game of telephone. If someone tells you something, don't fucking say it to everyone. You have a massive audience of millions of people. You cannot go and say every rumor you hear publicly and then say, oh well, I didn't know, someone else told me. Unless you're gonna come out with the evidence, no one cares. And I think James Charles is innocent, and you know this. And you blaming Tati for ruining James Charles' career, when you have been a factor in that, you and Shane both. You always play the saint, you always blame other people. I want to make a drinking game of watching the podcast. I've said that to Edwin on his live, when I was like watching the live and commenting. I said, take a shot every time Jeffree Star tries to deflect the blame onto someone else, and just watch what happens. You're gonna be in hospital. Because this man can take no responsibility for anything he's ever done. Keemstar defends Jeffree, and I just want to know, why do you think it's funny that James Charles is a predator? Why are you laughing at that? Clown has been a king as usual. He's the only one who actually asks Jeffree and calls him out. And Jeffree is petty as fuck. Why are you bringing up James Charles, and why are you bringing up... He's bringing up his old friends by saying that's why he's not friends with them, because the community is full of drama. Laura Lee, Nikita Dragon, Manny MUA, Gabriel Zamora, he's bringing them up for no reason, even though that's been over an eternity ago, and these people don't care about you anymore, and they've moved on, but you are still there being petty and childish. Grow up. You are a 35 or something years old man. I'm 23, my maturity level is 100 times more than yours. Grow the fuck up. Because you are pathetic, you are a child, your audience is toxic and they are defending you for no reason, and I don't understand. His makeup's good, but what else is there to this man? Please let me know what's the appeal. He seems very charismatic, but at the same time, just when you look at him, you can see the malice in his face. I don't understand why people like him more than the makeup. The last thing I want to say, it's gonna be about Edwin. Again, he made a live stream, but it was shorter, in which he discussed this. So if you want to go on his Patreon, check out the live stream. It's not as insightful as the other one, but Ready to Glare and him have commented on the whole matter together. And Keemstar, because he's a man-child, came in the comments section and called Ready to Glare, called Julia a bitch. Man, you have nothing to do than look at the people who are making videos about you. Like, just grow up. You made the podcast, you're probably making money off of it. So why do you have to check Edwin's live stream and stalk him because you are in the previous one, now you are in this one. It just sounds so stupid. And Shannon has been in the CreepShow Art, has been in the comments section briefly, but I don't think she came as a guest. I haven't watched it until the end because there wasn't that much drama and I've already seen the podcast before, so there wasn't that much for me to see. I think I've watched like an hour and a little bit of it and like talked to Edwin in the comments a little bit. I have like another account, shady, to talk to people. But yeah, I just want to say, Keemstar, stop calling women bitches and grow up and stop licking Jeffree Star's boots. And Jeffree Star, grow up. I've said that so many times in this video. Learn to be accountable for your actions. Even if you didn't know, I'm sure you had suspicions and I'm sure you stayed quiet because you wanted to be on tour, because you want the fame and the money and that's all you've ever cared about. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. It's gonna be more angry rants probably in the future, but I'm also planning on doing some vlogs. So if you're interested in getting to know something about me a little bit, I don't know. I hope that you end up staying with me, and if you wanna comment something about Jeffree, even if it's a hate comment related to me and explain to me why Jeffree is amazing and I'm a jealous nobody, please go ahead, because I'm happy to debate this in the comment section in a more civil manner, because when I'm in front of the camera I get angry, but if I can write the comment and take my time, then I'm gonna be more articulate and explain to you exactly why I think what I think. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.